Alright, I have a confession. At first, I felt Sukuna and Gojo were exactly quite neck and neck in terms of everything. In fact, I genuinely believed Gojo was reaching his limit in what he could possibly do to hurt Sukuna. But my word, was I wrong. Gojo is the strongest Jujutsu sorcerer to ever live. I don't care what anyone says. Sukuna just simply cannot contain fighting somebody who has the infinity and is born in the modern era. Gojo is gifted in all realms, and the difference between him and the two is astonishing. The violation and wickedness I have seen says it all. Remember to leave a like on the video, and I'm gonna give you the reasons why undoubtedly Gojo is stronger than Sukuna. Now, I'm not here to deride, I'm just here to give facts. Gojo has shown Sukuna multiple times in the fight that he has the edge, but really and truly, it's not Sukuna's fault. You are fighting somebody who has the infinity. This alone would mean anyone that fights him would be limited in weaponry and the tools in their arsenal. To everyone saying, oh, Sukuna should just use the box and his curse techniques that he has, let me tell you something and set things straight. He would be wasting his time and his curse energy output. The only thing to use is domain amplification. That's it. So it restricts what he can genuinely do and tries to do. So ultimately, I believe we can agree, if this was the high-end era and Gojo time traveled perhaps, this fight would be problematic for Sukuna completely. There would be no Mahoraga to even help him at all, especially if he's hit with the unlimited void. It would be game over. Chapter 232 of Jujutsu Kaisen is where Sukuna shows what being outplayed looks like. So we know Sukuna has to adapt to the infinity. This would mean a total of 4 spins. But now there is 2. Gojo is in big trouble and needs to find a way to attack full throttle. He uses properties of the limitless blue to create space on his hands. Coated in this, he destroys the bridge with one swing. Then he releases the blue and warps it around his hand and around Sukuna, in which he almost erases him, but Sukuna was able to escape from it, and you can see the remains and the marks on the wall to signify that this would have crushed him completely. Sukuna in this moment was being quite agile, as he knows the effects would be devastating. The ball ends up chasing him, in which Gojo then appears behind him in a blind spot and catches him off guard. Kicks Sukuna so hard that his stomach looked like it even tore. But it was to Sukuna's advantage since it spun again, meaning just one more spin left and Gojo gets his infinity adapted to. One confusing part about Mahoraga right now with his wheel is no one knows if it adapts to the attack or if it adapts based off time. Sukuna seems to know due to the fact that when he was being attacked from Gojo in the previous chapters, you can see that he said, oh, he's using only limitless blue because he doesn't want me to adapt to his red and his other moves, so that's the only move he's going to use. And it makes a lot of sense. So perhaps since infinity was used already on Sukuna, fighting against it and unlocking one spin might trigger a timing effect. It could be either that, or maybe the space in itself is infinity and that's why he can adapt. Either or, he's being able to adapt to it at a quick rate. Gojo kept on using blue because that's all Sukuna believed Gojo would do, and then suddenly, from out of nowhere, he shoots a curse technique reversal red behind the pillar onto the face of Sukuna. Sukuna reacted by using domain amplification, in which the wheel visibly turns black. That means temporarily the adaptation process was on hold and he needed to respond to the attack, which was the curse technique reversal red. And this is one common thing I believe we can all agree on when we say Sukuna always trash talks. Like, he gets done so dirty because of it. For example, again the domain expansion, look, bodied. When Gojo's brain was messed up, again, Sukuna got bodied again. It just seems like he always gets bodied after speaking so much nonsense. So now again, Sukuna trash talks Gojo, saying he's being sloppy and hesitating, mentioning that the moves were predictable, but little did Sukuna know, the attack that Gojo did came back round and hit him in the back. From the initial shot, Sukuna thought was sloppy in the first place. Sukuna was not aware of this and it plunged him in the back, visibly making him look stressed. That's before the one and only move that is born in an athletic state, the Black Flash. This is the first time this move has been used since the Yuji vs Mahito fight. It was beautiful to see now and quite embarrassing for Sukuna. Battered to the point he is absolutely blacked out, knocked down even. And if anyone knew about the Black Flash, it was definitely Yuji because he pointed it out. So now in this situation, you're kind of in between where, okay, now that he used the Black Flash once, you know he can use it multiple times, as they've told us many times in the past. So this most likely is not going to be the last Black Flash we see. as we know that in an athlete state you can start doing record numbers. Sukuna, looking like he's finished in all realms, has the wheel on his head drop onto the floor just before the one and final spin occurs. Then the wheel hits the ground, meaning everyone knew what was about to happen. The only difference is that Sukuna seems to be knocked out and out of commission, leading to Gojo being stuck randomly in a shadow. This opens up, making him immobile and not able to move at all. Yuta and Yuji screams out sensei as the humongous hand and sword comes out slowly. Gojo, surprised and puzzled, already knew the outcome due to the 6 eyes, showing that he would undoubtedly be grabbed and struck with the blade that would turn cursed spirits if hit into dust. The sword of extermination. Mahoraga seems like the embodiment of what you need to be Gojo. Its adaptability represents how defiant it can be to the laws of normal physics when it's called infinity. Yorozu was the first victim, whereas the second victim is the man Gojo. Mahoraga seems to be the only thing that can stop him from beating Sukuna. Every single time is the last hit. It's always there to stop him. The main expansion with Sukuna, Mahoraga saved, then the Black Flash, Mahoraga saves again. At this point, Mahoraga might as well be working as a policeman or firefighter with the amount of times he's been called in to save the day. Honestly, it's bizarre. Now, these situations is why Sukuna is on fraud watch again. I believe right now there's going to be a lot of people upset about the way Sukuna is being treated, as, let's be real, he's looking like a bum. Gojo fans in this case are probably celebrating and rejoicing, as supporters are receiving everything that they would have wanted, and right now there's no issues. The problem now is the underpoweredness of Sukuna, as he's not able to use the moves that he usually wants to, as explained before, due to the infinity. And he kind of looks a bit weaker than, a lot of people would have anticipated. I'll make a video on that later anyway. But as of now, Gojo has definitely shown Sukuna who is the boss. Do I believe Gojo is going to be able to hold it up without the infinity? This is where you say and put your hands up. Sukuna might start entering his bag. This might be exactly what Sukuna needed to be able to oppress him as much as possible. If you're fighting with Mahoraga, that is a bit cheap because, it's a 2v1 at that point. But this is an all-out battle to see whose curse technique is purely better without any defenses, which most of the time Gojo's defense was one of his techniques that was very vital for him to survive a lot against Sukuna. But that's out the window. The whole situation's changed, and hopefully one of them can show us who's best very soon. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a like on this video. I appreciate you guys for being here. Subscribe if you're new. Watch this video on the screen. Hey, it's really dope. I make good content, I believe. And yeah, man, as I said to new and old people that come and visit my channel, Jana.